listeners, this is Onyx Prime here. I wanted to let you know that I am out on an adventure and very, very important Prime business. So the next 2 episodes I am actually telecommuting via hollow matter, which is why my microphone sounds so weird. We still haven't perfected that technology, but I promise I will be back right after the Dark Cybertron series, so my mic should sound better. Again, we are so sorry that the hologram doesn't pick up the microphone as well. So thank you for staying tuned. All right, back to the show. Hello, and welcome to the podcast where we are currently recapping the events of the Transformers IDW 2005 continuity. I'm Onyx Prime with my 2 co-hosts here.
Hi, I'm Computron.
Hi, I'm Kilobyte.
Moving on with our comic book discussion for today's episode takes us to IDW Dark Cybertron Volume 1. And as always, spoiler warning. So if you haven't read it already, we highly recommend you go back, read it, then read it again. Then come listen to the podcast, because this is a good one. Now, onwards. Both Computron and myself have read this series already, but this is Kilobyte's first time, and we're excited to hear his thoughts about this series. But before we can dive into that, before we get into it, before any of this can happen, Computron, you have a duty to perform, right?
Oh boy, I suppose.
Do you mind reading us some trivia?
Trivia? Just the trivia, not the facts?
All of it, please.
All right, so for the facts, there are a total of 6 comics in this series. Issue 1 was released November 6, 2013, and issue 6 was first published January 15th, 2014. The writers were John Barber and James Roberts, and boy, do we have a lot of artists on this one. We got Phil Jimenez, or Jimenez, I believe, I'm not sure, Andrew Frith, Brendan Cahill, Attilio Rojo, James Reyes, Livio Ramondelli, Nick Roche, and Robert Gill, with colors by Josh Perez, John Paul Bove, Livio Ramondelli, and Romulo Fajardo Jr. Right. Okay, trivia. So, issue 1, Shockwave's vision foreshadows the content of Dark Cybertron, but as what was presumably the result of late-term changes to the plot. Alpha Trion never appears in the story, nor does the scene of Rodimus being crushed between the Necro-Titan's teeth. Spoilers. Number 2, the Titan's color scheme has changed from the white, orange, and blue deco it had in Robots in Disguise number 19 to a desaturated white, blue, and magenta as a result of Andrew Griffith's mistaken belief while designing the characters that it was supposed to be the same Titan that appeared in Robots in Disguise 2012 Annual, which had those colors. Ambus test may also be a reference to real-life Turing test designed to test how effectively a machine can imitate a human in conversation. The Ammonites, the Ammonites live up to their name by combining into a giant ammonite to pursue the Rod Pod. Not the Rod Pod.
Waspinator would also like to make fun fact.
Hey, Waspinator, what's up?
Waspinator was harmed during this story arc of Dark Cybertron. While this universe Waspinator.
Hey, there, Waspinator. It's going to be alright. Would asking the viewers to leave a like and subscribe make you feel better?
It would. If you like this video, leave Waspinator a like and subscribe.
Fantastic. Computron, you want to continue while I take care of Waspinator here?
In the last issue, issue 6, the story catches up to the roll call pages this issue with Slag officially renaming himself Slug, the name Hasbro now uses for versions of the character, which originated with his Aligned Universe counterpart. The full details of his change of heart aren't gone into, merely the RC told him that his name was offensive, a double reference to its status as both a Transformers swear word and a disparaging term for a woman in the United Kingdom, the latter being the reason Hasbro shelved it as a character's name. I did not know that. Continuing, the story has tactfully avoided actually using slag in a dialogue up until now, which is not a problem IDW stories have faced before. But Dark Cybertron is packed with toys.
I'd say.
Okay, now, Mr. Kilo, would you please summarize this story?
Will do. We explore the undead universe. The Autobots and Decepticons unite as Shockwave unleashes his master plan. The Lost Light crew fight some old allies. And we have a climactic battle as primes come face to face. And as always, this information has been taken from the wiki.
Oh boy, are you all ready? Listeners, are you ready?
I am ready. I'm ready.
I'm
I'm
ready.
ready.
Oh boy, another thing the editor has to add. Here we go. We start off with a flashback to Nova Prime reaching an anomaly in deep space that would lead them to the dead universe. What are your thoughts on this little small flashback setting up the rest of this series?
Think they shouldn't go in there.
Whoops.
Whoops. Whoops indeed. And it doesn't stop with the whoopses there, because when we continue on reading, we flip back to now with Waspinator flying a massive Titan that was raised by Optimus Prime into Shockwave's lab in the Crystal City. What could he be up to? Also, did you know that Waspinator to do that? I know he's not here right now. He went outside to, cheer him.
Wait, okay, let me get this straight. The guy that we sent off to kind of be, and he's not here, but the guy that we sent off to be our errand boy was piloting a Titan.
Sell the cage juice. Yes. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
No.
How is that even possible?
We'll have to ask him.
It's kind of scary now.
Yeah. But what could Shockwave be up to? Why does he need a Titan? Anyone know?
They're pretty big and pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
I guess
when he was making the combiners, he's like, man, I need something bigger.
there's always a bigger bot. We'll just keep that in mind. Back in Icon, however, Starscream has a somewhat Armada look about him.
I love it.
Where have we seen this look before?
I love this look. So good.
It's okay.
What?
It's okay. Have you seen the Armada series, Computron?
It's okay.
It's not okay. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
It looks good. Anyway, he decides to call in some Autobots. Wonder which ones.
The wrong ones.
The wrong ones? The lost ones, you could say.
the dead ones.
Hopefully they can light their way. Anyway. In deep space, the Lost Light stumbles across Optimus Prime and his crew. Any fave tidbits during the scene? Mine is when both sides think the other has the weirder crewmates.
That was pretty funny. I like, I think it was Garnak. I like it when he's like hugging Rodimus. He's like, yay, my friend, he's back. I'll never let you go. I'm like, oh, that's sweet.
Nice little reunion.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. It's from when Garnak, Wheelie, and Rodimus were escaping together.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nice little callbacks here.
Yeah.
But as like this comic is and our notes going, there's a lot of flip back and forthing and a lot of intertwining of storylines. So hang tight, because we're going to flip to somewhere else. Back on Cybertron, something comes out of the ground. And who is Shockwave talking to? Kilo, do you mind telling us what's going on here?
Yeah. So a huge Titan comes out of the ground. Is it the same Titan that talked to Starscream and told him he was going to lead Cybertronians, or is it the new Titan?
It's definitely not, because that Titan is dead.
I think he got blown up.
He got blown up. Actually, he got condensed into a small black hole, right?
I think so.
Oh,
yes, because
okay.
he was compressing into himself. Yes, and we find out that Shockwave is talking to Nova Prime and Galvatron.
Dun dun dun. When was the last time we saw Galvatron? Does anyone know?
It was Chaos. That's the last
Chaos.
time we know.
Right.
One thing I want to
Percival
point out
Francis.
is like when we see Galvatron again, it's like every time I read the comics and I see him, I'm like, how many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man?
That's exactly what's going on. But how did he get in the dead universe? Kilobyte, do you mind giving us a quick rundown?
That was the same question I had when I was reading it. Because I assumed that when the whole chaos happened, he got sucked back in when Optimus sacrifices Matrix. But if we're
Didn't he-
going,
Didn't he
or
get
the
sucked
fuck-
back in through Vector Sigma?
well, that was my
I
idea
think so.
when
I
I
think
read
that's
it.
what happened.
But
Yeah. Okay.
do they tell us?
I don't know if they tell us directly. There
Hey, it's
might be
assumed.
some after comic credits or maybe a deleted scene that didn't quite make it. You know what I mean? We'll
Yeah,
have
because
to put up a reference during this part of the video, but I think, yeah, it's not directly told.
I when I was reading it, I assumed it was during chaos when Optimus sacrificed the Matrix. He just went back with the void into the dead universe. Yeah. Originally, I thought he was dead, but seeing him
As did
now
a
is
lot of
like,
people.
Okay, I take that back. You remember the scene in Grinch when he still sees his moms are still alive?
Oh, no, you're still alive.
You're still alive?
in the Grinch.
Yeah.
Yes.
The old one, the Jim Carrey one.
I'm trying to remember the mom. His mom.
Moms, both of them.
His adopted mom.
Oh, I don't remember that movie.
We'll put up the.
I remember
Yeah.
some bits, but I don't remember that.
You
So
disappoint me.
speaking of the dead universe and flipping back to the Lost Light, Golem Prime collapses in on itself right in front of the entire ship, creating a portal to somewhere dead universe E, right? Right?
Yep.
Ish.
And with the help of Brainstorm, Rodimus, Optimus, and gang, they gain entry. Anyone want to describe what the dead universe is and what Brainstorm designed to help them stay alive?
Would you like to go, Computron?
I'm
I
gonna
think
let you.
Computron should handle this one.
'Cause
Go ahead.
no,
Just
no,
go. Do it.
like
Do it.
you're gonna do it. I was just gonna say I know what Brainstorm does. I just don't know how to explain the dead universe exactly.
So it's like the dead universe essentially has like these white blood cells that go out and actively hunt the living to make sure they're dead. And Brainstorm makes a virus, I guess, for the dead universe.
Force field.
I know, but if you think about it, he brings them in with the force field, and they're essentially viruses of the dead universe. I don't know. I'm doing really bad analogies right now.
Halo, you want to help them out?
Yeah, Brainstorm has been studying the dead universe because he's done research through because Hardhead was in contact with the dead universe, and so using these parasites that he extracted, he created this force field that once you have it activated and you go in, the dead universe doesn't really know you're there because it can, if it detects living organisms or anything that's living, it'll consume it. It'll kind of make it into powder and crumble it down. So if the force field will protect you from those harming effects.
Right. Perfect. And before they decide to jump into this condensed Golem Prime portal to the dead universe, I want to point out I really enjoyed that they reused the Welcome Aboard Thunderclash sign and has Thunderclash striked out and then wrote Optimus and then found out Optimus goes by Orion Pax and so has Optimus wrote out and it has Orion Pax underneath that. Like that to me is hilarious.
That was awesome.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. So, quick roll call. Optimus, Rodimus, Hardhead, and Cyclonus dive into this portal to the dead universe. Brainstorm doesn't go because, he's allergic to hostile environments. Same feeling, same mood.
Of course.
That was hilarious. Even though the ship has already had hostile environments before.
Right, right. So, flipping to Cybertron, Computron, Kill. What's your thoughts on the prophecy Scoop tells Starscream?
It's. I thought it was funny because it just says like the stars will scream, and then he's talking to Starscream, and it's like that's just too like spot on. It's just like they're trying to throw me off and kind of make me think Starscream's gonna cause all of this.
Well, it's not like he didn't help.
No, but it's just like using the specific stars and screams. It's just like it's a little bit too much.
Computron?
And the symbol of the uncreator shall be clear. Yeah, it's, it was a bit much. Like, honestly, like, Starscream's ego was just the best of him, right? And Scoop, telling him, like, essentially, like, hey, you're not who you think you are, buddy.
Elaborate.
Well, essentially, it was saying, like, you remember how the Titan was saying, or I think Starscream was quoting the Titan saying, like, he was the creator, and then Scoop's like, listen, and he shall arrive and stand alone, while not alone, and time will rust, and the stars shall scream, and the symbol of the uncreator shall be clear. The entire time, like, how, like, throughout the entire time when Starscream was in charge of the Nils, like, he was just sitting there going, I'm the guy, like, I'm the chosen one. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, for this, you're the chosen for the uncreator. You're the bad boy.
Right. So going from chosen one to chosen one now destroy us all.
Yeah. Do you think this prophecy was written by Shockwave on purpose to guide Starscream to what happens later?
What makes you think it was written by Shockwave?
Well, there's a symbol that they show, and it's exactly Shockwave's face to the teeth. But
I think you're coming up with conspiracy theories here. You're like, oh, there's a deep state here. The Illuminati's real.
But you know how Shockwave has agents everywhere. So I think like Scoop might have been one. Like now, based on what Computron was saying and everything, I just feel like this was there on purpose. So Starscream would go to the specific place.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to continue reading to find out.
I never actually paid attention to that symbol on the pad. I was just like going, swipe.
The symbol on the pad, and eventually he says like he went to the same academia that Shockwave used to teach at, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're hitting spoiler territory here and there. Flipping to the dead universe. Cyclonus isn't looking so good, but we do find a familiar face. Nightbeat, of all bots, our Sherlock Holmes bots. I believe it was a zombies crossover event that happened that pushed him to the dead universe. Kilo, do you want to give us a quick speed run on how he ended up in the dead universe?
Yes. So on the Hardhead Spotlight, Nightbeat can't quite remember certain sections because they went to Gorlin Prime and then he forgot certain parts of. He's trying to remember those parts, and he tells Hardhead that if he tries to do anything, he should kill him because he doesn't want to endanger the Autobots and endanger him. And as they explore Gorlin Prime, Jihaxis, meanwhile he was in the dead universe, was talking to Nova, and they reprogrammed a Nightbeat. So he was a sleeper agent, and there was a portal in Gorlin Prime, and so Hardhead had to put him down and killed him. And so as he killed him, he sank into the portal, and so that's how he ended up in the dead universe.
Wouldn't he be dead?
Well, the virus don't see him, or the dead universe protector, whatever.
I think they say that in the dead universe, if you're like it brings you back, so like you're dead, but it's through the powers of the dead universe, kind of keeping you in a loop. I feel like it's like a limbo situation where
Gotcha.
he's not dead or alive, he's just there.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
And,
You're welcome.
I wanted to say, like, talking about Cyclonus, it was just like, I guess, when you can't necessarily double dip in the dead universe because he ain't handling it very well.
No, he's not doing so good, huh?
Yeah, I think it's because the world tells him he had a new spark in the whole chaos event. So maybe since it's like a fresh, new, vibrant spark, it could be affected more than the others. And he also
that's a
doesn't
good
have
theory.
Oh, yeah.
No, I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
And I think you're probably right.
But then we'll talk about it later.
So flipping to the Lost Light, Ultra Magnus is assigned leadership while Rodimus is out vacation, with the dead universe, and is learning to soften his image. But that's not the most exciting thing that's going on here. Something that's worth at least a good thumbs up. Kilo, Computron, care to explain?
I could do this one if you want, Computron.
Yeah, it just somehow ends up on the ship on Lost Light, and it was just like, oh, okay, good thumb.
They found a thumb, a Titan thumb, out in space or like in a planet they visited, so they just put it in the ship.
Yeah, and now it's alive.
Yep, and pushing the ship.
Speaking of thumbs up, let's hear a word from today's sponsor.
Let's play Who's That Bot?
Hey, Computron, you look tired. You doing okay?
No, just running low on fuel. I really wish there was a small drink that can give me the boost I need to finish the day.
There is, and you're in luck. It's called K-Juice, a new exciting Energon drink that will give you the boost that you need to finish the day strong. Here, have one.
Thanks, Onyx. That hit the spot. Just what I needed.
Purchasing K-Juice, you agree to the following terms and conditions. K-Juice Corp is not responsible for any possible
Wait,
crimson contained inside
what's
the
in the
juice box or
box?
any mischievous gaming plans that may arise after
Onyx?
consumption. Other side effects may include
Onyx?
mouth moving faster than the brain module, spontaneous outbursts, random blackouts,
What in
and other
Primus's
electrical
name did you
malfunctions.
give me?
It's Rodimus and Tailgate.
Welcome back. Anyways, continuing on with our comic, Starscream attempts to talk to the giant Titan. Well, let's just say that Titan did a little something more than talk. Computron, do you care to explain what that Titan does?
Well, before we do that, I kind of wanted to point out that RC had like a really big stick that she was pointing
Yeah?
at him.
He's a good shoe.
He was gonna blow him out of the sky.
That is a good scene.
So anyway, Starscream's approaching the Titan, and so he needs some clarification on his status, of course, right? And well, lo and behold, kaboom! I don't know how else to say it. Is while he was whispering his sweet, sweet nothings into the Titan nuclear explosion, and sadly, Starscream gets away with his ugly body.
It's a death pulse, so that's kind of creepy and unsettling.
So yeah, a death pulse. And there's a lot of...
Death.
I know this comic... Yeah, there's a lot of death. There's a lot of...
Spoilers.
Or when the comic came out, this came out before the Marvel's Avengers Infinity War saga, but I want to point out RC ain't feeling so good, and it reminds me a lot
I was
of
thinking of Astro Train.
Yep.
well, it's like RC says something like, "Prowl, I'm not feeling so good," and it just reminds me of Spider-Man. Spoilers for Endgame, but or Infinity War. But if you haven't seen it, then you're one of like 5 people who haven't. Anyway, that's what I wanted to point out.
Yeah, such a good scene. Pretty
Kilo,
sad. Yes.
who makes a return with vengeance?
I was teased about this and asked last episode, or on RD Volume 5, but Metalhawk comes back with a vengeance.
One arm Metal Hawk.
How does he come back?
The power of magic and the power of death. At the death pulse, pretty much how it works. If you were dead, it brought you back. If you were injured, it made you dead. And if you were healthy, it just damaged you a little. So it does like the reverse. So depending on how you were doing, it would cause the reverse effect.
Yeah, that would suck.
And then Starscream gets it firsthand, gets stabbed in the back for being a backstabber.
Oh, sweet, sweet irony.
Yeah, full disclosure, he definitely earned that one.
Yep.
But he is looking for a friend,
Not a good friend.
I suppose.
So,
Even
Kilo, do you
though-
think everyone stays dead?
Hopefully after all of this, yes.
It's like Metalhawk was looking for a friend, even though that really wasn't a friend of Metalhawk. But
It is not. It's a friend of nobody's.
yeah, and he was getting the boy Megatron.
Yeah.
Why would he get Megatron?
Flipping to the Lost Light, who decides to track down Metroplex at an unknown location underwater, surrounded by what looks like hundreds, if not thousands, of ammonites. But it's a good thing the Lost Light was built as a submarine, right?
I suppose I did not know that.
Was it?
Yes.
But really, was it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
No.
No? Oh.
Anyway, I really enjoyed the brainstorm and Perceptor interaction there. If you haven't read the comics, then you won't understand that previous reference. What's your guys' thoughts on this?
That was hilarious. I found it so funny. I love their interaction. I love brainstorms being all quirky and joking around. I think I think they're gonna be good friends.
Yeah. Computron?
I mean, do you remember like when we first started how much Brainstorm kind of looked up to Perceptor?
Looked up to Perceptor, Quark. He's got
And
a type.
now
a
he's just
microscopic
like
type.
the sassy guy to Perceptor. Is like, wow, you've outgrown your stardom, I suppose. It was interesting. It was like their dialogue, especially between any dialogue with Brainstorm is funny, but like it was interesting when they got into an argument when I think it was Perceptor that was saying like Optimus has ordered them to yada yada, and Perceptor's like, it's not Optimus, it's Orion Pax, and it's Ultra Magnus that tells us what to do.
Yeah,
And then Ultra Magnus is like, you're right, let's do it.
yeah. I do like there's an interaction again with Perceptor and Brainstorm when they go in the water and they find the ammonites. And like Perceptor is explaining like why they didn't notice them before and why they're seeing them now, and like Brainstorm is trying to finish each section, and then he's like, exactly, see, you and me, simpatico, and I'm like, really? That's pretty funny.
It's so good. So anyway, those ammonites you talked about, they don't turn out to be as friendly as they were before, and they begin to open fire.
Yeah,
What's
that's
the escape plan, boys?
everybody off the ship.
Scuttle the ship.
How do we escape the ship? They're underwater.
Well, those that can
If only there was some sort of pod.
I think it's also worth noting that if you were ever curious, and I'm pretty sure this is, spoken for, they don't float.
No, they don't.
they sink. Well, except those that do have alternate modes that can work underwater.
That's true.
True.
But it was interesting, like those little ammonites like knew to hit the cockpit like directly, like right there.
Yeah,
Well, they've
it's
had 16 million years of experience.
yeah, well, it is like they also had a spy on board when we saw Thunderclash.
True.
So, but they use something they shouldn't be touching, which is Rodimus Rod Pod.
This is the first time we've seen this, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your thoughts?
Looks cool, but you can see Rodimus' ego there.
Just a little bit.
That doesn't look like Hot Rod. What are you talking about?
And what are your thoughts on the Super Combiner?
That's pretty scary. I wish we had a Titan to fight it.
If only.
If only.
So anyway, Shockwave uses Megatron's body as a space bridge to the dead universe. Oh boy. We all know what happened last time.
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
I really want to talk about Rung fighting off the Ammonites.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
We'll rewind.
It's, he's doing his best in combat, and after everything, he stabs one like in the chest, and he goes, "You're liable to fall apart." But like he's literally giving his entire legal notice while he's killing these things, and it's like, okay.
The comedy in this issue is great.
It's awesome.
It's just on point. It's everything I've ever wanted out of Transformers.
Some chaos, some action, but then some comedy as well.
Hey,
Mostly
man,
comedy.
we gotta appreciate James Roberts with this.
Yeah.
He can give you something so depressing, but have some comedy, and you feel good about it.
So moving forward and flipping back to Cybertron, Shockwave uses Megatron's body as a space bridge to the dead universe. Oh boy, we all know what happened last time Nova tried coming through, and this is a nice little callback that Shockwave can do two things at once. Anyway, Kilo,
I love
Compatron,
that.
what are your thoughts on Metalhawk joining forces with Shockwave?
A little bit surprising. I thought at this point that Metalhawk was being like something else got inside of Metalhawk and was using that body to get Shockwave what he needed. So once the dark pulse happened, the spark, or I don't think they have souls, but the spark or the mind or something was controlling the body and then bringing the stuff Shockwave needed.
I kind of had an idea of Shockwave, I'm going to be honest with you, because you remember when he shot, who was it, in Robots in Disguise, and then they just came back to life?
Dreadwing.
Dreadwing. Yeah. And so Dreadwing had purple eyes, right, when Shockwave shot him?
I think so, but I can't remember.
Don't recall, but we can throw an image up.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know how they swapped the artists because they had to really work this through in the specific art style. Metalhawk's eyes are blue. But, I kind of had an idea Shockwave was behind it. It's just like, I think it was hinted. But anyway, jumping ahead, I kind of want to throw out the alien reference that they brought in to the comics, the little chest burst.
Oh, with the portal in Megatron's chest?
Yeah, his screaming and then Nova Prime reaching through. It's like, oh,
That's a nice shot.
like a little alien.
Yeah. Speaking of them coming through his chest, Galvatron and Nova Prime are fighting over. But before they can come through, Bees, Autobots, and Soundwave's Decepticons decide to finally join forces and attack Shockwave's base. Any favorite scenes during this?
And I like Ironhide's approach of punching everything without questions asked. He's like, okay, you're my target. I'll just punch you until I defeat you. Same thing like he did with Prowl. I'll just punch you until you recognize me. And I'm like, I like you, Ironhide.
Signature move.
Is this the one where Prowl confuses Ravage with the dog? And I think that was a
Yes.
reference to
Phase 1.
yeah, it was a reference to Phase 1, but it was specifically a reference to All Hail Megatron, where
Yep.
Spike couldn't even tell the difference between a cat and a dog.
I
Yeah.
think so. Good stuff. Eventually, Shockwave takes control of the Titan, creating even more havoc. Wait, because he uses Waspinator's stinger, does that mean Waspinator is a type of Titan Master? Since he can kind of
Dream.
control them?
They'll ruin his dreams, man. Yes, he's a Titan Master. He's a good boy.
I don't want to think about that.
Should we buy him drinks next time?
Should we be nicer to him? We don't want to. We don't want a Titan appear here at the bar.
I feel like there's a hidden message behind all this. I can't quite figure it out. So back to the Dead Universe. Kilo, do you mind telling us a little bit about Nightbeat and his Sherlocking abilities?
Yeah, so he kind of steps up his boundaries and starts explaining Cyclonus and describing all his little quirks and kind of telling that he's he cares. He's a little bit softy, but he puts up a front to try to look tougher. He explains that the scratches he did in the More Than Meets the Eye Volume 5 were actually him kind of like reminding himself to, like, he cares for Tailgate, but he was like, I can't show that emotion, so he just scratched his face, and then he ended up getting fixed, but still there, and he's like, you do care, you just don't want to really show it.
Yeah, and Cyclonus doesn't like that.
Oh, he does not. He's ready to kill Nightbeat at the spot.
Comp, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny that Cyclonus, when it comes to vulnerability at all, he just hards up or puts up a wall and just like gets super aggressive. And
Right.
how dare Nightbeat say what he said?
Right.
But isn't it all true?
I think there's a phrase on Earth. It's like masculinity toxic. I think that's backwards, but who knows? Anyway, moving on. Back on Cybertron, Sound Off, who isn't dead. Doesn't matter, because Galvatron escapes from the dead universe and rips Megatron in half. Oh, how the turntables have turned since the 2007 Michael Bay movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Things are not
Okay.
looking good for everyone. What are your thoughts?
How are they gonna defeat this huge Titan with
There's
barely?
always another big bot, right?
I like how Shockwave kind of has like that little stinger in his little cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool.
I like the little horns he has, and that. I know it's supposed to be his antenna, but they look like horns, so it
Right.
makes him look even scarier and like more evil.
He's got like huge vibes from the video game, more for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron theme look to him,
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
I like that design a lot.
We're going to do lots of flipping here towards the end, but back in the Dead Universe once again, Nightbeat leads everyone into a trap. Bum, bum, bum!
Double agent is always a double agent.
Containment cube.
A containment cube, the plot thickens, and Nova Prime arrives to say hello. Any thoughts on that?
When I read it the first time, I'm like, wait, wasn't Nova out when he was like coming out of the chest? But then I
Yeah, that
went
was
back
his
and
face, right? Wait, hold on.
He looked mostly out, like he was like waist up, out. Yeah, he must
Yeah.
have got punched right back in by Ironhide.
yeah. I thought it was Ironhide, or I think like Galvatron pushed him back and used him as like leverage to come out first.
That would make sense how Galvatron made it out and not Nova.
Yeah, because I know Ironhide started punching Nova first.
When Ironhide evolved, you best get out of the way. He's gonna punch you.
But this is going to be interesting.
It kind of reminds me of the type of dad that bangs on the TV when it don't work.
Oh no! So flipping to the Rod Pod, who are currently inside Metroplex's body and are searching for his brain module, but they don't find that. Instead, they find endless corridors leading to nothingness, but back to the Rod Pod. Any thoughts what that might be? The first time you were reading it, that is.
Thought it was a trap because they find some arrows and the arrows are pointing to direction, so they start following the arrows and then they come back to the rod pod. I'm like, must have been a trap from the Ammonites, and then we do see an Ammonite there blowing up the rod pod, and I'm like, okay, so how are they gonna get out of this?
Artemis is not going to be happy about that.
Oh,
yeah.
he's not.
Can we talk about the gun?
You can talk about the
Swerve.
gun all day
Swerve
long.
Got the gun. He got the gun. He got the condescending singing gun. Autobots in trouble, exploding planet. Autobots in trouble, exploding planet.
I love that
The
ringtone.
ringtone?
And that's very important because they do find a trace of metal inside of Metroplex, and so they're calling the expert to tell them what that means, and he's just not answering.
He's not.
We finally needed Swerve, and he's not there.
My last note brings us back to the Dead Universe once again, to the containment fields, where things get a little tense. I'm talking about prime on prime violence here. Kilo, Comp, care to say anything more? Maybe something that happens to Hardhead? Maybe?
Oh, he's not feeling too good either.
Your lord and master has arrived. I don't know. I just thought that line and I did that voice when I read that line.
Sure.
But yeah.
Sure. Like, I don't think you guys want to talk about Optimus beating the hell out of Rodimus,
Yeah, that was kind of fun, wasn't it? I mean,
wasn't it?
Does that happen in this one, or is it in the other
Yeah.
one?
No, it happens in this one.
I thought this one was where they were talking.
It was a distraction, yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. No. Like, Optimus beats up Rodimus, and then after they break out, they fight. Okay.
Optimus punches Rodimus. Hardhead uses the distraction to break out of a weak point in the containment field, so he escapes, but it heals up ridiculously fast. And then Nova Prime shows us what happens when you don't have your protective force field.
Bye, Hardhead.
Hardhead's not feeling so good.
I do like when Rodimus gets punched in the face. He's like, that was a distraction?
Right. He's like, oh, that hurt.
Yeah. Well, you gotta make it convincing,
Yeah. Any other notes here?
At the end, we find there's another space bridge inside the Dead Universe.
Yeah? Who's
Yeah,
that?
it's our old friend Cup. What is
Well, how
Cup
did he end up
doing
there?
here?
You want to give us a quick rundown how he got there?
Yeah, so during the infestation events in the comics, there's this force that's kind of like a hive mind, and they create what you would call zombies, and they arrive on Earth when the Autobots were still there, and Galvatron is with this force, but they're trying to like stop it, and so there's a battle that ensues, and the whole team they're impeded by a force field, and Cup is the only one inside that's being corrupted by this force, and so they try to convince him to think of a different location so that when they use a space bridge they constructed, they end up in that universe. And so once the force of this entity goes in there, it sucks everything in, and so Cup went with it as well.
So that's how he got here, huh?
Yep. And now he's being used as a space bridge.
Computron, any other last thoughts?
I thought originally when I was reading this, and then maybe I was wrong, I thought originally that cigar that they gave Cup was something to help him regulate the space bridge, but I was totally misconcepted on that.
It was to regulate his because he was infected. He was traumatized, so it was used to keep him in check and for him.
All right. I completely misread that, but yeah. I do like. It was kind of weird to me because at the end when they show the second space bridge, I didn't know that was Cup. I thought that was somebody else at the end of this volume.
Yeah, he looked very young, right? He didn't look as
Yeah.
old like Cup. Look, I'm guessing that must have been like a different
It almost
artist,
looked
or
like,
maybe.
Slug to me, or one of the Dinobots, the one with the sword.
Grimlock? No.
Yeah, you know how little that
not
narrows
the
it down.
No,
Snarl?
the one that turns into the long neck.
Sludge?
Sludge. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was so
Maybe.
close.
He kind of looked like a early days Sideswipe.
Oh yeah.
For me, it reminded me of like a Ratchet, and I feel like it was like a medical bot of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting. Rod Star rating. I'll go ahead and come out of the gate and give this a 4.5. It was pretty good. I like it. I'm excited to see where it concludes.
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna go 4, or I'm gonna go 4.5. 4. I think I was getting annoyed with the drawing flip-flopping, but I know they had a rush to it. Obviously, the plot was good, but it was a really good setup, obviously, for Volume 2.
Yeah, I think it's a 4. It had a lot of cool things and like propelled the story forward, and we get to see the master plan. But it left me wanting a little bit more.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get that. But listeners, what did you think of these comics? How many Rod Stars would you give it? And let us know by leaving a comment below. All right, so we don't have any emails for you, but you can get in contact with us at swervesbarpodcast@gmail.com. You should be seeing it on your screen now or in the description below. Are you guys ready for Transformers Dark Cybertron Volume 2?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Sweet. But listeners, before you go, we do have some last minute news for you. We wanted to let you know we are going to TFCon this year, and maybe we'll see you all there. We don't have a booth, but we will be walking around in our human hall matters and hope to see you all there. Kilo, do you have any other news for the listeners?
We wanted to let the listeners know that we will be taking 2 weeks break after Volume 2 of Dark Cybertron, but we will be back on March 21st with new episodes and maybe even some bonus content.
Ooh, how exciting. Wonder what that bonus content could be.
So this is on the anticipation of us going to TFCon.
Sweet. Computron, do you mind taking us out?
I suppose. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this episode, consider sharing it with your friends and subscribing. We hope you all are staying safe out there, and thank you so much for listening. Till all are one.
Till
All
our
or
one.
one.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Swerves Bar Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at Swerves Bar. If you are interested in more content, try checking out the spin-off D&D Transform and Rollout Rise of the World Killers. Let's tune in for a preview now.
Actually, you know what? Here's the thing. I crashed the Blue Jay on the planet, and then I kind of hiked it.
What? You?
Yeah,
You better be lying. You better.
I
I would
will.
like to hold Spitfire back.
Let me pour you some.
This is creepier than somebody just goes, do you want to buy some drugs? It's like, do you want to buy some drugs?
Just serenading everyone.
Exhilarating. There is also a YouTube channel with bonus content. Link will be provided below. End transmission.